everyone, I'm welcoming you to this tutorial where we cover how to create and prepare your minimaps, voxel minimaps for Magic Palette. This is something that creators and artists really would love to dive in, I imagine. So I get you covered how this can happen the best way and how you prepare your files. Magic Palette is not an editor in itself. It is more like a converter that helps you to bring these maps to the Sandbox platform. So without further ado, I will jump in and start up MagicaVoxel. This is one of the voxel editor that you can use. You can also, of course, use VoxEdit or any other voxel editor that you are familiar with, and work with any voxel editor that is most convenient for you. The export or the final file that we are looking at and would be importing into Magic Palette is a vox file, so .vox. All right, here we have MagicaVoxel. I will open a project that I have prepared for you guys so you can see how we in our team do approach level design with the help of Magic Palette. This is kind of a new way of thinking when it comes to level design. It is quite straightforward, but then again, you are not working directly in GameMaker. When you start your experience or start creating your experience, you would start creating your level design in a small scale model, kind of. So this is what Magic Palette can do for you. You will create minimaps, we call them minimaps, based on voxel, and each voxel will become a block afterwards in GameMaker. So let's jump in. Usually I go from concept or this early design pre-production phase, where we come in with an idea, with a rough layout, maybe some sketches, things like that. And from there, I would block out a minimap, I call them. And this can be really small scale. As you can see, I will blend in the voxels here. This is really just a first version of what I have in mind. These are a few plateaus, and I block out the terrain quickly. And as you also can see, it's quite small, so it's only about a size of a meter by a meter, a bit more than if we would import this directly into VoxEdit or the game. And the idea behind this is, when you work small or in a small scale, you can really make fast progress. So the idea was here to have some sort of a landscape that is embedded in this kind of tech infested structures or something like that. So that was the concept behind this little island here. Once I'm happy with the basic layout, and especially the proportions and seeing where things come or fall in place, I would then scale it up. You can do this here on the sidebar of MagicaVoxel. You can scale it up 2 times, for example. And as you see, we already have more voxels, or a quadruple times of voxels to work with. This is something that really kickstart you fast. And as you can see now in the second setup here, this is the same island as we had before. It's really basic, as you can see. What is marked here already with these yellow outlines is the bounding box of a 1x1 land in the sandbox. So if you go back to the model mode and I click this grid here, you see it here on the top bar. We have a size of 96 by 96 by 128, and this is exactly what one land can be as max size. So if you go over this, if you do a larger size, then it doesn't fit into one land and you would need to publish it on 2 lands or more lands. One thing that you never can exceed or kind of go taller is the 128. This is the limitation that the platforms brings with it. No land has more than 128 blocks to build with. So keep this in mind. Other than that, of course, you can go larger and do multi-land assemblies. As you can see here, I have scaled up my main island here, or main design, and it's this kind of simple landscape. From there I use, and this is the amazing thing, since you can work in any voxel editor, and especially here in MagicaVoxel, you have quite powerful tools and options to work with your landscape. Here you can see I have applied a shader to my base volumes of the landscape, and this gives me this really cool gradient that I then afterwards can assign blocks to and make the landscape more integrated and more fleshed out and really more detailed, just on block based already without any asset. So I have covered this topic in a separate video for you. If you are interested in using or getting started with shaders, please check it out. I will drop a link in the description. From there, we can use various other things, like for example an erode function. It's also a shader here in MagicaVoxel, and this oh, sorry for the jump back, I need to select this one. As you can see here, this is you also can dial in the parameters, how far you want to go when you erode your existing model. This gives more natural vibe, and I think it's quite a cool function if you use it carefully. From there, I would apply my green grass terrain, or the top layers. This can be also done by just one function, where it overlays the top surfaces of your model with a different color. That's a good thing, because as you see, we work with various colors here. For now, they are not that important. Of course, you would, for me, it was kind of natural to use green, some sort of green for grass. But this can be changed afterwards in Magic Palette, and especially since you assign blocks, each block has a corresponding hex value, a color hex value, that is then kind of giving you the block that you want. And this will all happen in Magic Palette. And here it's more really about modeling, defining your level, and then going to Magic Palette and assign the blocks there afterwards. So we then started to add these type of, how can we say, it's a text structure that I also would use special blocks for these, like more sci-fi or metal plated blocks that I would assign to these structures. I made a few parts. You can really work modular here, and I encourage you to do so, because this allows you, as you can see here, to assemble then various parts of your model or even copy and multiply and mirror things as you need them. The terrain itself is kind of ready, except that I would wanted to add water, a water body here. This also can happen, especially here in MagicaVoxel, can happen with a function, with a shader. You can flood your scene. This is quite powerful if you want to build an underwater level and want to build the rocks or the cliffs and the formations that you have underwater first. And once you're ready, you can flood the whole scene with the water. We even can, I think, can we? We can, yeah, exactly. You see the water body kind of, or what would become water blocks here in the center. And of course there are waterfalls and all that we add step by step. As you can see, we have a small little island as details for a parkour section in the center here. So these are all things that can be added and really put into place. And once you're happy with the whole model, you actually would get this, let me focus this shortly. You would get this a whole model of a 1x1. So this is really going to the bounding boxes, as you see when we look from top. This would become my base layer for building the level on it. With this, I would then export it as Vox, the whole model. The Magic Palette is also capable of importing models that have various objects and layers, like this one here. So you don't need to combine everything into one model. It can detect multiple objects and combine them for you. This is very convenient, especially if you have multiple layers. I will show you a sample in a second where you can see this much better. And this gives you much flexibility to also alter and adjust your level design in your voxel editor, and always export it then as a Vox for Magic Palette. All right, this would be a basic process how we would approach creating a level design. I will show you a different sample now. For example, this one. So this is quite a large map. Actually, it's if we click here, we can see it. It's 192 by 192 by 60. Of course, it's only a part of it, but it's already a 2 by 2 land when it comes to the sandbox. So this means we need 4 lands to publish this full experience on it. The cool thing that I can show you much better here, of course, here's the full assembled mockup. This is a production that we had a lot of indoors or rooms that are inside, and this happens often when we build experiences. As you can see here, we have some floors inside with pillars and doors and all that type of deal. So as you might know, if you have experience in working with GameMaker, it can be quite a pain to work enclosed. And here, this is a huge strength of working with this process, with working on a minimap and then going to GameMaker with it. You actually can publish or kind of push only part of your map to GameMaker, work on it here in these enclosed areas, even dress them with assets, set up game mechanics, do the logics, effects, all what you need. Once you're ready, you then would put back the level, and from there you would lift up the next floor, and so on, and really works successively from the bottom up. In this case we did this, and it was a huge time saving, and it had a really huge benefit for the level designers, that they have direct access to this area that otherwise would be quite annoying to work with. You also can see we have various single objects, like these arches, for example. The great thing here is you can, as said, build modular and have them in place. But once you see in-game, or you proceed with production and your level design, and want to move a whole element like this, for example, to the back here, and maybe align it here or whatever, it fits better here, in your opinion, after a while, once you're in the design process. This would actually cost you a lot of time in GameMaker, because you would need to tear down all the blocks and build them up exactly as you want again here. And so because block placing is kind of finite, or you can't move them around and all that. And this is where a huge strength of Magic Palette comes in, with this approach, where you can use your designs quite freely and rearrange things, make more space, make some placeholders, like these statues that you see here. They are just placeholders. They get replaced by assets, huge in-game assets afterwards, and just give you a first impression already in this early stage of level design. Awesome. So that's a more advanced type of map. Maybe to see also a bit what is possible block based, we have this example here. This is kind of a floating island where we see quite a few buildings, and the design itself really elevates block-based approach, because we all know we love to use assets. Of course, for various things we would use assets, but for other things it's quite cool, and also performance-wise, because blocks don't use that much performance as an asset does in your game, and it can be quite attractive to build things with just blocks, in our opinion, especially if they are well designed and if they blend in well to your model and idea. We have quite a simple palette here. As you can see, we have the gray from the stone underneath, we have some dirt or soil, afterwards there's the grass, we have some water, and a few tones for the structures and all that. This is exactly how I would prepare my model. As said, it can also be individual layers and objects. And to give you also maybe one last inspiration, that it doesn't need to be always kind of this straightforward landscape type of design. You also can use various models. Actually, any voxel model that you ever did or will create can become a playable level in Magic Palette and afterwards in GameMaker, of course. And we think this is a huge opportunity to push the boundaries a bit and really make things work on top of for example, building a jump and run experience on top of these whales. They are quite huge, as you can imagine. Each block becomes, each voxel becomes a block, and we think it opens up new opportunities to build things with blocks that weren't possible until now. Because actually building this in GameMaker based on blocks is close to impossible, or it would take you a really long time. So this is another huge benefit and gives you hopefully much more creative freedom than you had before. Awesome. With all things in common, in the end, as said, we export as Vox, and Vox is the file that Magic Palette can read, and also is always kind of your save file in the end, because you can go back and forth, as I just described, iterate your Vox in any editor, save it again, load it, and push it to GameMaker afterwards through Magic Palette. This is, we think, it needs a bit rethinking of how to approach level design, but we are confident that this will really empower you as creator. All right, until next time.